Imagine you're waiting for an important event, something that could change your life. You know it's going to happen, but you have no idea when. Now, the question is, are you really ready for when it happens? Today, we're going to talk about a story that brings up an uncomfortable truth. Not everyone will be prepared when the most important moment arrives. In this parable, 5 people were ready, and 5 put it off until later. What happens next is a powerful lesson about what it means to be prepared, or not. If you've ever caught yourself thinking, I've still got time, or I'll get ready later, this story might make you rethink your choices. So, stick around until the end and see what's at stake when the unexpected happens and the door closes. Alright, close your eyes and imagine this scene. There's a huge wedding celebration about to take place. One of those events that everyone in the village has been waiting for. In those days, a wedding wasn't just a one-day affair. It was a week-long festival, full of food, music, and joy. The whole town would be there, and the celebration wouldn't really start until the bridegroom arrived. Now, there are 10 young women, bridesmaids, who have been given the honor of meeting the bridegroom and escorting him into the feast. These young women each carry a lamp, their task being to light the way for him when he arrives. You can almost feel the excitement in the air. They're dressed in their finest, lamps in hand, eager to be part of this joyful moment. But here's the thing. No one knows exactly when the bridegroom is coming. He could show up at any time, day or night. The bridesmaids have to be ready, no matter how long they have to wait. Their lamps are not just for show. They need them to be burning bright when the moment arrives. So, they all gather together, waiting, hearts racing in anticipation. Each one is holding a lamp, their symbol of preparation. The 10 women seem identical on the outside, each with a lamp, each eager for the bridegroom's arrival. But there's something that will soon become very important. Some of them are fully prepared and some are not. This is where the story begins to unfold. A story about waiting for something important, something life-changing. These 10 bridesmaids represent more than just wedding guests. They represent all of us, waiting for something far greater. But what happens next will reveal who among them truly understands the importance of being ready. As the 10 bridesmaids stand there, holding their lamps, we start to see a difference between them. 5 of them are wise and 5 are foolish. What makes the difference? It's all in the preparation. The wise ones have thought ahead. They know that the bridegroom might take longer than expected, so they've brought extra oil with them. They've got little flasks of oil tucked away, just in case their lamps start to run low. They understand that it's not enough just to show up with a lamp. You've got to be ready for the long wait. But the foolish bridesmaids, they didn't think ahead. They've brought their lamps, but they didn't bring any extra oil. Maybe they assumed the bridegroom would come quickly. Maybe they thought the oil they had would be enough. Or maybe they didn't think about it at all. Either way, they're standing there with no backup plan. On the surface, they all look the same, lamps glowing, excitement in the air, but underneath, the difference is already there. The wise bridesmaids are fully prepared for whatever comes, while the foolish ones are taking a risky gamble, hoping their small supply will last. The night stretches on, and everyone is waiting. No sign of the bridegroom yet. The lamps keep burning, and the oil keeps slowly depleting. But the bridegroom still hasn't come. As the night wears on, the excitement slowly gives way to exhaustion. The hours pass, and the bridegroom is still nowhere in sight. The bridesmaids, who had been full of anticipation, now start to feel the weight of the long wait. One by one, their eyes grow heavy, and eventually, they all fall asleep. Both the wise and the foolish. It's the middle of the night, and the lamps are still flickering, but no one is paying attention anymore. The oil in the lamps is burning lower and lower, and the night is quiet. Then, suddenly, a cry pierces the darkness. Here's the bridegroom. Come out to meet him. It's the moment they've been waiting for, and it's come when they least expected it. Right at midnight, when the night is at its darkest. The bridesmaids all wake up with a start, scrambling to get their lamps ready. This is it. The bridegroom has arrived, and they need to be ready to meet him, lamps burning bright. But now, as they rush to prepare, the difference between the wise and foolish bridesmaids becomes painfully clear. The wise bridesmaids, calm and collected, immediately reach for their flasks of extra oil. They refill their lamps, and soon their lights are glowing brightly again, ready to light the way for the bridegroom. But the foolish bridesmaids, panic sets in. Their lamps are going out. They don't have enough oil. They realize in that crucial moment that they didn't prepare for the long wait. Their flames are flickering, fading fast, and they have no way to relight them. In desperation, they turn to the wise bridesmaids and beg, "Give us some of your oil. Our lamps are going out." But the wise bridesmaids, knowing they only have enough for their own lamps, respond, "No, there may not be enough for both us and you. Go to those who sell oil and buy some for yourselves." It's a moment of frantic realization for the foolish bridesmaids. They've run out of time. The foolish bridesmaids, now in full panic, realize they have no other choice. Their lamps are flickering out, and without the oil, they can't join the procession. So, with no time to waste, they hurry off into the night to try and find anyone who can sell them oil. Meanwhile, the bridegroom arrives. The long wait is over, and he's ready to lead the joyful procession into the wedding feast. The 5 wise bridesmaids, with their lamps burning bright, step forward to meet him. They've been ready all along, prepared for this very moment. Their lights shine brightly in the darkness, and they walk with the bridegroom as he leads them into the wedding hall. The doors to the feast are thrown open, and the air is filled with music, laughter, and celebration. The wise bridesmaids, having been prepared, enter with the bridegroom. The door is closed behind them. The celebration begins. But outside, in the stillness of the night, the foolish bridesmaids are rushing around, desperately trying to find oil. They've left the most important moment behind in their frantic search. Time is slipping away, and with every passing second, their chance to be part of the wedding feast fades. They're trying to catch up, but it's too late. The bridegroom has come, the doors are closed, and the celebration has begun without them. As the foolish bridesmaids realize their predicament, panic sets in. Their lamps are flickering, the flames are sputtering. Soon they will be engulfed by the darkness. Desperate, they turn to the wise bridesmaids and plead, "Please, give us some of your oil. Our lamps are going out." The wise bridesmaids, their own lamps burning steadily, look at them with sympathy but also with a firm understanding of the situation. They respond, "We're sorry, but we don't have enough for both us and you. If we share, none of us will have enough. It's better if you go to those who sell oil and buy some for yourselves." It's a hard truth, but the wise bridesmaids know they must ensure their own readiness. They can't borrow or give away what is essential for their own preparation. The oil they carry is just enough to see them through the bridegroom's arrival. They had planned carefully for this moment. The foolish bridesmaids, realizing the urgency, hurry off into the night to find anyone, who might sell them oil at this late hour. You can almost feel their anxiety as they scatter, lanterns dimming, shadows closing in around them. The streets are dark, shops are closed, and every moment counts. Meanwhile, the wise bridesmaids remain, lamps glowing brightly, hearts steady. They are ready. They've done the work, made the preparations, and now they stand in anticipation. The soft light from their lamps cuts through the darkness, a beacon welcoming the bridegroom. The contrast couldn't be more stark. On one side, the calm assurance of those who prepared. On the other, the frantic scramble of those who neglected to. The wise cannot transfer their preparedness to the foolish. It's something each must have for themselves. In this critical moment, the importance of personal responsibility becomes clear. The oil represents more than just fuel for a lamp. It symbolizes the preparedness of the heart and soul, something that cannot be borrowed or bought at the last minute. Each person must cultivate their own readiness. And as the foolish bridesmaids disappear into the night, the scene is set for the bridegroom's arrival and the unfolding of what comes next. While the foolish bridesmaids are off searching for oil in the dead of night, the moment finally arrives. The bridegroom appears. His arrival is met with joy and excitement, and the 5 wise bridesmaids, with their lamps brightly lit, step forward to greet him. They've been waiting patiently, fully prepared, and now they join him in the procession. The bridegroom leads the way, and the wise bridesmaids follow, their lamps shining brightly in the darkness. Together, they make their way to the wedding feast, a celebration filled with light, laughter, and music. The doors to the banquet hall are thrown open, and the bridegroom and the wise bridesmaids enter the feast. Once they are inside, the door is shut, sealed, final. The celebration has begun, and everyone inside is filled with joy and relief, knowing they are part of the feast. The wise bridesmaids, having been prepared for this moment, are now sharing in the joy of the bridegroom. But outside, the scene is very different. The foolish bridesmaids, after a frantic search, finally manage to buy some oil. Their lamps are lit once again, but their journey back to the wedding hall is filled with anxiety. They hurry through the streets, hoping they haven't missed their chance. They arrive at the wedding hall, their hearts pounding, only to find the doors closed. In front of them stands the door to the celebration, but it's locked tight. They knock, desperately calling out, "Lord, Lord, open the door for us." They are pleading now, knowing they've missed something important, but still hoping for a second chance. But inside, the feast continues. The bridegroom hears their cries, but his response is final and devastating. "Truly I tell you, I don't know you," he says. It's too late. The door remains shut, and the foolish bridesmaids are left outside, shut out from the celebration they longed to be a part of. The realization sinks in. They weren't ready when it mattered most. The foolish bridesmaids stand there, staring at the closed door, their hearts sinking as the bridegroom's words echo in their ears. "I don't know you." The weight of those words hits them hard, because it's not just a closed door they're facing. It's the reality that they've missed their moment, and there's no going back. They had the same opportunity as the wise bridesmaids, the same chance to prepare, to be ready. But now, in this critical moment, they are on the outside, shut out from the celebration. The door represents more than just the barrier to the wedding feast. It symbolizes the finality of missed opportunities. The foolish bridesmaids knock again, pleading, "Please, let us in," but there's no response. Inside, the joyful feast continues, but for them, it's over. The celebration, the bridegroom, the light and warmth, it's all out of reach now. The truth is painfully clear. There are no shortcuts to being ready. The oil they lacked wasn't just about physical preparation. It was about something deeper. It was about the spiritual readiness, the vigilance, the heart that is prepared to meet the bridegroom. And now, at the most important moment, they are left in the dark, realizing too late the cost of their unpreparedness. The lesson is hard, but it's one that resonates deeply. It's not enough to wait passively, assuming everything will work out in the end. The bridegroom came suddenly, unexpectedly, and only those who were truly ready, with their lamps burning bright, were welcomed into the celebration. The foolish bridesmaids, left outside in the cold night, must now face the consequences of their choices. They weren't ready when the time came, and now they've lost their place in the feast. As the door remains shut, the foolish bridesmaids are left standing outside, alone in the darkness. The night feels colder now, more silent, as the realization fully sets in. They've missed their chance. There's no getting in, no second opportunity to join the celebration. The joyful noise of the feast is muffled by the thick walls, leaving them cut off from the light and warmth inside. They glance at each other, the weight of regret hanging heavy on their faces. Each of them had the same time, the same chance to prepare, but they didn't. The oil, the symbol of their readiness, their vigilance, was something they didn't value until it was too late. And now, that small oversight has become the cause of their greatest regret. Inside, the banquet continues. The bridegroom and the wise bridesmaids are celebrating, filled with joy, laughter, and light. They are in the presence of the bridegroom, enjoying the feast that had been prepared for them. But for the foolish bridesmaids, there is nothing but darkness outside, a reminder of how swiftly the opportunity to be prepared had passed. Their knocking and pleading go unanswered. The door is closed, and it will not open again. They are not recognized by the bridegroom, and this rejection is final. The words, "I don't know you," still echo in their minds, and it becomes clear that their lack of preparation wasn't just about oil. It was about being truly known by the bridegroom, about having a heart that was ready for his arrival. The foolish bridesmaids now understand what it means to be caught unprepared. The lesson is stark, and the consequences severe. They were there, they had the lamps, they had the opportunity, but they didn't take it seriously enough. In that moment, standing outside the door, they know there's no turning back. The celebration will continue without them, and they are left to face the reality of being unprepared for the moment that mattered most. As the foolish bridesmaids stand outside the closed door, the reality of their situation becomes undeniable. The chance to enter has passed. The time for preparation is gone, and there is no more room for excuses or last-minute efforts. They had the same opportunity as the wise bridesmaids, but they didn't take it seriously enough when it mattered. Inside, the bridegroom and the wise bridesmaids are celebrating, filled with light, laughter, and joy. The door that separated them wasn't just a physical barrier. It represented the divide between those who were ready and those who weren't. The foolish bridesmaids, left in the cold and darkness, feel the full weight of what it means to be unprepared when the bridegroom arrives. It's not just about the oil anymore. The oil, representing preparation, was something they could have had, something they should have thought about. But in the urgency of the moment, they realized too late that they couldn't borrow someone else's readiness, someone else's preparation. It had to be their own. They had assumed they would have time. They thought they could make up for it later, that the delay wouldn't matter in the end. But now, staring at the locked door, they understand the deeper truth. Being ready is something that can't be delayed. You have to stay prepared no matter how long the wait may be, because when the moment comes, when the bridegroom arrives, there is no more time to scramble. The foolish bridesmaids feel the sting of their decision to wait, to put off what they should have done earlier. They now realize that the wedding feast, the joy and celebration, wasn't something they could just join at the last minute. It required a commitment, a constant vigilance, and a heart that stayed ready, no matter how long the delay. But for them, the door is closed. The celebration inside carries on, and they are left outside, grappling with the finality of their choices. And so, with the door shut and the foolish bridesmaids left outside, the lesson is clear. Jesus looks at his audience and says, "Therefore, keep watch, because you do not know the day or the hour." It's not just a warning. It's an urgent call to be ready, to live with the understanding that the bridegroom could come at any moment. The foolish bridesmaids missed their chance not because they were absent, but because they were unprepared when the critical moment arrived. Their lack of readiness wasn't a sudden mistake, but the result of neglecting the importance of being prepared all along. The wise bridesmaids, on the other hand, kept their lamps burning, ready for the bridegroom no matter how long the wait. They knew that the time to prepare wasn't when they heard the shout. It was before, in the quiet hours, when no one was watching, when the delay felt long and uncertain. They were ready. Jesus isn't just talking about a wedding feast, he's talking about us. The oil in our lamps represents more than just readiness. It symbolizes faith, vigilance, and a heart that is actively waiting for Christ's return. It's about living each day as if the bridegroom could arrive at any moment, with our hearts full and our lamps burning brightly. The question he leaves us with is this: are we ready? Are our lamps filled with oil, prepared for the long wait? Or are we, like the foolish bridesmaids, hoping that we'll have time to get ready later? Because the truth is, when the moment comes, it comes quickly, and the door will close. The parable is a call to live a life of constant watchfulness, of spiritual preparedness. It's not about fear, but about responsibility, to keep our hearts and lives ready for the bridegroom, knowing that when he comes, there will be no time left to gather what we need. And so, the story ends with that solemn reminder: keep watch, be ready, for you do not know the day or the hour.